In today's lecture of design of jig fixture, we are going to see in detail what are the conditions that are associated with the design and construction of drilling jig. Let us start. A jig was originally so called to distinguish it from a fixture. This type of equipment being fixed to the machine tool table, chuck, or either a faceplate. The only equipment which does not normally need to be fixed to the machine tool to counteract the effect of cutting forces, machine movement, or gravity is that used for drilling and associated operations. The another characteristics of operations performed on a drilling machine is that the cutter can be guided by the equipment which cutting is taking place. This cannot be applied to other machining operation. Thus, the term jig has in machine shop use come to be applied to equipment that incorporates means of guiding the tool during cutting, although in some cases this equipment may be bolted to the machine table during the machining operations. Let's understand. The location of the component is obtained by applying the principles laid down, but because drilling is a comparatively short operation, the locating systems must be such that positioning and clamping takes up as little time as possible. Drilling is very rarely done as a first operation, and so there will be suitable machine surface from which to locate the workpiece. Components that are drilled at an early stage in the machining process may not have sufficient machine surfaces to produce complete location, and location may need to be partly from machine surfaces and partly from cast or forged features. Locators that position the workpiece from these latter features may need to be adjustable to allow variation in workpiece size from batch to batch. Drill plates may also be positioned from cast features by employing sighting plates. Clamping. Usually the clamping force required to hold the workpiece will be small, and so hand nuts, clamps and similar clamping features can be used. Hand operated clamps are usually preferred to spanner operated clamps because time can be lost in locating a spanner and shifting its position on the nut during tightening. Handling the jig. Some drill jigs have to be inverted between loading and drill movement about the machine table if a fixed spindle drilling machine is used, or in the case of box jigs, turnover from one station to the next. The jigs should incorporate handles, lifting points, trunnions or similar handling aids, and made as light as possible. Care should be taken to ensure that jig will not foul parts of the machine when moved about onto the machine table. Drill jigs should be provided with a feet. Now, what are the feet? The feet is the bottom part of the machine that will provide a stability to the machine to ensure correct sitting on the machine table. There should be 4 feet so that jig will be unstable if piece of swarf are under one or more of the feet. It must be emphasized that requirements of the feet of a jig are different from those of a tripod. The tripod must allow stability when placed on an even or uneven seam plane, but the feet of a jig must ensure that axis of the drill bushes are vertical to prevent incorrect work or broken tools. The feet should be large enough to bridge any slots in the machine table and also be far enough apart to ensure that cutting forces act within the figure enclosed by the feet. Now over here you can see cast jig foot. The foot provided, and it's a cross section that there is no gap in between the surface and the feet. Figure 4.2 show a typical separate foot which is an interference feet in the base, and you can see over here there is an interference feet provided, and 4.3 will show a base that is machined from stock to incorporate 4 feet. Long feet are used for table or turnover jigs and are shown in the diagram. You can see in the diagram. This is the machine jig foot. In the example of long feet, the foot bolt is retained by a foot nut which serves as a supporting foot when the jig is invented for loading. The foot bolt and foot nut are tightened by applying a spanner to the hexagons. You can see foot nut and bolt assembly. Hexagon nut provided with a foot bolt. The foot bolt and foot nut are tightened by applying a spanner to the hexagon. These hexagons are so positioned to prevent errors resulting from the strain that would be produced if the hexagons were at the far ends of the foot bolt and foot nut. The ends of the separate feet are ground after assembly for accuracy. The jig feet are marketed by manufacturers who specialize in jig and fixtures. Controlling the cutters. Now these are the workpieces and these are the headed drill bushes, whereas in the next diagram it has shown headless drill bushes. You can see the difference very clearly. The first diagram indicates headed bush and second diagram indicates headless bush. Now as you know, headed bush will be giving more space for the tool to enter into the workpiece. Therefore, let's understand what are the conditions. These cutters are guided by means of holes in the drill bit, which are located and relative to the workpiece or by holes in the jig body. It is usual to bush these holes, but unbushed holes may occasionally be used for small runs or if it is impossible to make room for drill bushes. These bushes of case hardened and ground steel and shaped to provide a lead for the drill when entering the bush. Recommended sizes for drill bushes are contained in British standard, that is IS 666, and drill bushes to these standards are marketed by the manufacturing of jig and fixture. Now the diagram 4.5 shows headed drill bushes. Now the headed drill bushes will be seen in this diagram, and you can see a typical headed drill bush are used when the hole depth must be controlled. It will be seen that a good sitting for the bush is obtained by champering the hole in the drill bit and undercutting the bush under the head. Now the bush must either touch the workpiece so that the swarf can only escape via the bush or far enough way, or to allow it to escape between the workpiece and the drill plate. It shows, the next diagram shows a headless drill bush used when the depth of the hole does not have to be controlled. Special bushes are used for awkward workpieces. Now in this diagram you can see the awkward drill bushes. It shows a bush used to prevent drill run caused by sloping surface, and the next diagram shows a drill bush arrangement designed to give adequate guidance when drilling a hole in a face is some distance from the drill plate. When such drill bush is particularly long, its bore is relieved so that only the end near the workpiece controls the drill. Okay, so over here we will stop the lecture and will continue the same series of lectures in the next. Till then, thank you.